This is the Bottom Line Liberia. Join us on Facebook, YouTube and online radio. This is the Bottom Line Liberia. Join us on Facebook, YouTube and online radio.
Through trials and tribulations, you have prevailed. The spirit is unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you want to land with grace.
You are welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia.
And so we'd like to say welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia. This beautiful Friday evening, weekend just starting. And today is the 24th of January 2025, meaning this is the second to the last Friday in this month. Am I correct? Yes, I think next Friday is going to be the end of the month. So we have one more Friday to go. But we want to say welcome to each and every one of you. For those of you that will be joining us for the first time this beautiful evening, we'd like to say welcome. This is where we discuss the issues, give our views, and we usually say your view is your view. You may not be right, you are not wrong either. So we ask that you sit tightly and get yourself something to munch on or to sip on while we go through the discussions. And absolutely, the discussions are open to everybody. Just do it with respect, and then we can get a ball rolling. Let me say welcome to my colleague, Paul the Lord Chilupe from the United Kingdom. Paul, how are you?
Linford, good evening, and good evening to our audience. The Lord Chilupe is great. He's good. And United Kingdom is the way it is the winter weather, so one cannot complain. But apart from all, happy to be among the living. So I'm good.
And thank God for that.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. We in the Scandinavia, we can't complain about cold because cold is part of us. The only thing we complain about is heat, because when it's not cold here, then something is wrong. So we've been having snowfall for the third day today in row, and it's expected to continue until Sunday. And so, then we're going to have the real Norway, But it's good to be here on the program tonight. For those of you joining us via Jala TV from Liberia, we want to say welcome. And let's say welcome to the president of the Liberian Diaspora Organization in the whole of Europe, Mr. Francis Muno Mensah. He's also one of the panelists here on the show. Francis, how is Sweden?
Well, Linford, thank you. Sweden is getting warmer, though, especially in Stockholm, but in the north of Sweden, the extreme cold. People stay in the minus 15 degrees. While we are here there were just +2 today, so it's kind of.
Look, your foreign leave the code. They're calling you.
Yeah, but all is well, my brother. How's the end? Lord Chilupe, how's the
Pack
end?
your bag and go to Liberia. They put calling you. They need all your expertise, man.
That's
Just stop the thing with it.
When I hear you talking about +2, then that's summer for us here, But tonight we're going to have very interesting discussions. We have a guest tonight on the program, and that guest is a Liberian philanthropist and also an educator. So for those of you who saw the flyer, you should have known much about the guest already. Not much, but at least something about the guest already. But we'll be bringing him on after our newspaper review, and we'll be starting the discussion. So without aborting what we'll be discussing tonight or who the guest will be, I will not tell you anything. So we'll bring a guest as a surprise. But let me say welcome again, Paul. What do you have for us when it comes to the review, or you want us to take our musical break while we share the show, and then we can do the news review?
No, I think we just get into. You can hear me, Linfa?
Yeah, sure.
If you guys can hear me, I think we just get into the news report and then bring the guests on.
Okay.
So
Then you can
what we
get
have
us
today
going with
is
what you have.
the three. I think, yeah, so we're going to go into this one first. This is the front page, Africa. They say the Terrifier incident. So at the capital again. So the question is, what's going on? And at the top of that page, you see there are 7 persons on that picture there have been wanted by the police for investigation regarding the second fire incident. So that's what the front page is saying. So what's happening to the capital? Yesterday, something came out. They said that how they call it? It was just false alarm, but there were fire truck all over the place. So the front page is now saying there is the Terre fire incident. So, and we know that the second fire incident led to the burning of the capital, and 7 persons is now lawmakers that they wanted by the police or person of interest. So that is the country. This is where we're heading. And this story here, we haven't been told the investigation that will carry on, whether they did forensic to tell us the actual cause of that second fire that no one know of. But then on the day of that fire, we know that a lawmaker home were invaded by police, and then he was wanted for questioning. He went in, they let him out. But this time around, they want 7 of the lawmakers. We know that they have other people in custody already being charged with the fire incident at the central prison. So this case, a lot of Liberians now are talking, people that we talk to, journalists, everyone is seeing that the way things are going, it seems to me, is a witch hunt. So that's the story, guys. That's my thought. What do you guys think? If you read the story, Linford, Francis, up to you too.
Yeah, I think Francis can go ahead.
And while we go into the story,
Now,
ask our audience to kindly share the show.
Look, for Christ's sake, when were we Liberians see the importance of this investigation? So everybody in the country, legislators or who, once the government officials, you should go free. You shouldn't be accountable. It's nothing wrong with having these legislators who are people of interest to be called in. So we have a country where everybody's above the law. Only ordinary people will face justice or will be persecuted. Then we'll all be saying, "Oh no, the people, the just." All we are saying now that justice is only for, for the rich people, and these people should be held accountable. And it does not mean they are guilty. They have that the reason why we have the court process. So even if this fire, the 12 fire incident was electrical, it does not negate the fact that these people, they are what you call it, they are suspects or they are persons of interest, should not go to the police to be heard or forwarded to court. That's why the reason why we have the court system.
Just before I come in, I got a question for you, Francis. Because of course you've been in law enforcement something before.
No, you cannot do a law enforcement. That's all I want.
You want to have from a shadow, but I want to ask you this question: why is it that certain group of lawmakers are the ones that they are eyeing, and the people? Okay, let me make a distinction, right? you got the majority group, the group that call itself majority. Then you got the minority, and all of the people who are suspect in this thing, even though the majority and the minority, they all work in that capital building, is their working place. That's their office. Okay. Then they only hire people from the majority group. Why? The minority group. Why?
Because they are the ones, they are the people of interest.
Man.
Simple as that. Everybody, the police, from the initial stage, the police said they spoke to 60-some persons.
Yeah,
They
but
said what the police and the police statement said they spoke to over 60-some or 60+ persons, and they have narrowed down the investigation to these two. I mean, to these people. I mean, who are listed to be people or persons of interest. So, look,
but
I don't know what it is.
There are more questions than answers because this is the.
Yeah, because we having a suspect minds. We having suspect minds. The reason why there will always be questions than the answers, because we tend to be how you call it, suspicious or circumspect of all things that happen in the country.
You see, I don't know. I think Paul can help me in here because we had a discussion a long time before.
So Linford.
Yeah.
Linford. This thing becoming the Flansomiton story, and I will say this again. You cannot have a situation that you have not carried a thorough investigation, not asking people what the cause of the fire, because you have not done forensic. The police RG told the community that from the smoke, look from the way they saw the smoke, based on the smoke, they classify it was arson attack. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is a witch hunt, and a lot of people are saying it. You have the majority group that were using the particular chamber that got burned. They have access to that. They have the keys. The speaker chair and the deputy speaker chair were taken out of that building before the fire. So the question is, who took it out? Who have access to the key? They have police at that building. They have a private security also that the government hired to look after that building. They have staff. But now the whole thing is only pointing at the other people. There are two groups of people in confusion. You cannot go for one and leave the other one out. What is forensic evidence that have been proving that, oh, this what it costs? What are the kerosene? So let's see now. I'm going to play something here. It's not the question here. Let me realistic.
This is a dangerous precedent that we set in this country. In Liberia, we live outside.
I got a suggestion. We got a guest. We got a guest, and this guest.
No, but you listen to one side, like we have.
I'm not stopping you. I'm not stopping you. We'll continue on the discussion, but my suggestion is we got a guest, and this guest is a Liberian. Besides being a Liberian, he got heavy investment in Liberia, and what we're talking concerns security. Probably he would like to be a part of some of these discussions. What do you guys think?
A poor man listen to Fox News all the time.
Paul, what do you think?
So we'll talk after that, because what happened is a complete witch hunt. This is 1980 style, and no matter how people want to trace it, there haven't been any evidence in this case. They torture people to get information. If you had the evidence from day one, where the CCTV? Where the CCTV to prove?
CCTV where?
The thing is,
CCTV in Liberia.
Oh, you don't have that. We don't have laboratory. The police before when it gets on.
The police said they had external forces, external help. The police said they had external help, the investigation.
And you remember we had similar discussion a long time ago. The police, you told me that police will always operate on suspicion. So the police can even lie. The police can look at me passing and say,
I
"You,
don't
my
think
man."
police operate on suspicion.
Of course, I will give you an example.
I
I'll
never
give you an
think
example.
that.
Give me a chance. I'll give you an example. I was in the UK studying. I was in Southampton.
Oh,
I
no,
live
you know
like.
what I told you now.
Wait, listen. I live like just 2
Leave
kilometers
for.
walking. In fact, 1.5 kilometers from my campus. And that morning, I was on my way to school. Some robbery had taken place just in my community. I didn't know. So I had a shortcut from my community passing between the horses just to come. I saw 3 police cars. I passed by the first one. Then while I was coming, then I saw the second one. And they were communicating like they are holding the thing. And I clearly heard the guy say, that one that is coming could be of interest. Stop him. So I came and walking with my headphone in my ear. The guy stopped me. So he asked me, "You live around here?" I said, "Yeah." "And where do you live?" I gave him my address. And he was right in the same vicinity. Then he said, "Okay, we want to question you." I said, "Concerning what?" He said, "But where you going?" I said, "I'm going to school." I showed him my everything, but still he was stopping me, trying to ask me. You see, so police will always operate on suspicion. When something happened, the police doesn't know who did it. They will begin to grab people and try to extract information from them. So you got a house that is comprised of several people, and among the several people, they are divided into 2 groups. The 2 groups are at loggerheads, okay? And then you get all the suspects for this particular case, you get taking them from one group. What about the other people? What made them so clear and clean that you cannot even have one person of interest for among them, but only the other people?
No, it's simple. I don't know how to say to you.
So I will understand if you can say to us.
I'm telling you, the police have had an investigation. They have interviewed both sides. They had intelligence, and the intelligence and the findings from the intelligence they have, and the evidence that they have, overwhelming evidence, point to these people. So you guys can say, I mean, it could be witch hunt, it could be Sasewu hunt, it could be wherever hunt. These people are people of interest until they go to court and exonerate themselves. That's what it is. So yeah, we cannot undo what the police have done.
But Paul, I don't think we need to waste time on this thing. The first fire, there was a fire incident at the building, and that
For
fire,
the sake of argument, for the sake of for the sake of argument, let's close this one with a short interview that lasts a minute. There was a fire guard who helped to train the Liberia Fire Brigade. Very close friend of the president. He went to Liberia over 12 different times. He was on the closing argument, and the question was asked. And I just want to play this, then we'll bring our guests in. So do not waste our time here. Listen to this one here.
Visually, they were able to make that determination based on your experience. And I quote, well, not quote, but I state what was stated per the Inspector General. He said the color of the fire helped in that determination process where they were able to make that determination. So based on your experience, several years of experience, how much would you rely, if there is a possibility that you can make that determination just based on visual, how much would you rely on that? And is there even a possibility that you can use that as a determining point to conclude that, yes, this indeed was the cause of the fire?
No, there is no possibility. And here's why. The color of smoke helps us, doesn't determine, but helps us determine what's burning, but won't tell us what started it from burning. So we got 6 of us on that. Let's just take a little survey. I'm sitting in a vehicle and I'm sitting on a regular vehicle cushion made out of foam. Who else is sitting on a chair that's either made out of foam or made out of plastic? Probably all of us, okay? Yeah. Foam and plastic is made out of a petroleum product. So the challenge that we have is, there's no doubt in my mind, looking at the video of the smoke from the Capitol, you had accelerants burning, but I don't know what the I don't know what the furnishings of the chamber were. Part of the investigation would be what's
Let move on and bring our guests in. I said they think it's a witch hunt, and,
Okay.
and as time goes by, people realize it's a witch hunt.
Okay. We're gonna bring on our guest, and probably since he's a Liberian, he
Bring the
can
guests on. It's time. Bring the
probably
guests on.
have an input. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say welcome again, and this time welcome to Dr. Bleedy Stem. Uh, Dr. Bleedy Stem, want to say welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia, and feel free to participate in the discussions. We'll ask you questions about yourself and what you do, and just answer the question the way you want to. We can ask the question, but we cannot determine how you answer the question. So if you're able to answer, you answer. You cannot answer, fine, you can skip it and we'll move on. But be a part of all of the discussions we're going to have here. Welcome, and tell us a little bit about who Dr. Stem is. Since you are Liberian, which part of Liberia you come from? I want you good to know, because we are all Liberians here and we all come from different places. So probably you and myself come from the same place. I don't know. but welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me, Linford, Francis, and Lord. I'm happy to be part of this edition of your, discussion. I'm from Maryland County, from the village of which we call Bleje. Normally, people call it Hogrewe. That's where I spent the second half of my childhood in that part of the country. I was a student at Fatima High School until 11th grade, and then I moved on to Kipamas High School, where I graduated from. And then from there on, I went to Cottington University, where I studied mathematics and physics. And after that, I taught on BWI for about 6 years as a math instructor, and then I became a registrar. After that, I got a scholarship from the British government, and I did my master's. I did my graduate diploma at Bristol University. From there, I did my master's at University of Cardiff, and then I did postgraduate certificate at University of Exeter. And I taught at Exeter High School, Exeter Community College for a year, and then moved on to the United States. And I did my doctorate in mathematics education with emphasis in curriculum and instruction at the University of Connecticut. Currently, I'm an associate professor in mathematics education, and I'm the chair of the Department of Childhood Education at State University of New York, Old Westbury campus. And I have about 25 faculty members in my department, both full-time and adjunct faculty members. And that's my story. You want me to continue? I can't. I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. You talk about mathematics and you giving all this huge profile. You remember skin creep because Norma and me and Norma, we're not friendly.
Well, you use numbers everywhere.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So basically, we know what you do and we know who you are. But before we go into our discussions with you tonight, for which you are here, we've just been discussing this thing that affects every Liberian in one way or other. That is this fracas going on for almost 2-3 months now at the Capitol building. People that we elected to go and represent us to do our work, they are at loggerheads, they're getting paid, but they're not working, so to speak. I don't know. What do you think? How do you think this is affecting the country?
Well, I mean, it's a problem that is actually It has affected the entire country, and since January, when this new government came in power, they haven't done anything much in terms of the legislature, actually, because so far it's all about problems compounded by problems. And I would like for Liberians to just slow down and let the security agencies do the investigation and come up with a conclusion. But right now, almost like everybody's an investigator. Everybody knows what is happening. Whether it's a witch hunt or it's not a witch hunt, whether the arrest, they have some motive and so on. Just wait until let them come up with their findings. Because the more we talk about it, sometimes it also dilutes the whole process of investigation. So we should stop making a lot of assumptions and wait and let's see how far this goes. But it's sad that the Liberian people voted for a change, and one of the first things that is happening is a complete chaos at the legislature. But as you said, they are taking pay, and the Liberian people are still stuck. They don't have jobs. So it has shifted the focus from development to trying to build a country from scratch. Why are they burning the building? No matter what, you shouldn't burn a building. And I don't know, maybe it could be, I don't know the source of the fire, but let the law enforcement, let them do their work and see where it goes.
Okay, thank you very much. One point before Paul comes in or Francis comes in, one point you made that that caught my ear is the further we discuss this thing would dilute the process of investigation, and that diluting process started from the very day of the fire when the president went there, and he already preempted the outcome of the investigation when he said that it was the work of hooligans and that would not be accepted. So I think that was part of the process that diluted the whole thing. I don't know what happened to him, but probably something happened. Maybe I don't know whether he electricity went, but he's off the screen. But Paul, you heard what he said. I guess he's trying to come back.
Yeah, I heard what he said, and Linford, he is right. You see, usually in a normal country, every week there'll be an update by the fire service or the police to update the public that this is where we're heading. They tell you. But if people sit back, what about on the day itself of the burning of that building? The fire was still on. When you had lawmakers, you had the president, you had photographer, you had journalists all in the building. That alone is tampering with the investigation. In a normal country, they will seal the surrounding
Can
for
you hear
a
me?
week. They will do that fact finding before police
I can't
come
hear
up.
you.
This is how the investigation gone. But it didn't happen in our case. And you're not hearing us?
You're not hearing us?
I can't hear.
I don't know. Maybe go out and come back. I think he got a call.
Come back in.
Yeah. Let me kick him out. Okay. Yeah, Paul, continue.
So what I was saying, every week the fire service is supposed to be updating that have gone on so far, but that didn't happen. The day of the burning of that building, guess what? The police went to Safoko house without even investigation. That alone shows it's a witch hunt. No matter how people want to spin it around, that based on his utterance that he made in July last year. So they call him for questioning. But how will you call someone for questioning if you haven't done your fact finding? That's why we're saying it's a witch hunt. It's witch hunt.
Look,
Okay.
let me just come in. Look,
Mm.
the very Safoko was on the radio yesterday. Paul, you need to stop listening or watching Fox News and listen and watch the news in Liberia and listen to the various radio stations. The very Safoko was on the radio yesterday. He appeared on 2 radio stations. He appeared on OKFM. On the night before, he appeared on Spoon Talk, and he was on this guy that was CDC guy show. I think Seku show they call him, and he said, "Look, let us get investigation chance. The police they have seen something, they have found out something, and I will avail myself to the police for investigation. The police has every right to to call me in for investigation." And you were going to call, he was going to cooperate with the investigation. And then look, and Paul, I don't know where you're getting your information from, your insinuations. You're not a law enforcement officer, you're not a fire officer. So if I'm talking about IT thing, I'll probably say yes. I'll put my hand up. But this has to do. There's only a different branch where you having an opinion on it, which you're trying to validate, trying to make it sound as facts. And there's no witch hunt. The police is doing this job, and let us give the process a chance.
Yeah.
And all I have to say.
Okay. I think we've spent enough work. I mean, enough time on this one topic, and you keep saying we should give the police chance. Yeah, the police. Nobody is backing the police.
That's my opinion. The way
everybody is giving their opinion.
I see it.
Yeah, I say your opinion. I
say your opinion. The right thing. Then what about public opinion? Is a witch. Exactly. That's my opinion. So, nothing to do with Fox News. That's what I'm saying. It's a witch hunt until the police prove me wrong.
Okay.
But
they will bring a majority black too instead of going for one group. But Bannon said, then we know, but you keep going for
we got a guess.
Torturing majority group.
We have a guess. We have a guess. The guess is a group, man. The group posted Paul, you got best.
Yeah, let me get close up on this case while we transition to our guest. You see, no, when we talk about which one, probably it will sound so harsh or bad.
You going back on it again?
No, wait, I said before, I'm giving my closing on it. Can you imagine?
I'll give my closing on it too.
Can you imagine that the fire happened at the Capitol building just 2 days after they came up with a budget of, how many million? It's 8.7 million. You're helping with the figure here. They keep all for a budget. Now, the fire happened. There has been no investigation. No engineering crew had gone there to assess the level of damage, but they were able to come up with a budget. Whether the budget is overplus or not, nobody knows. Number 2. Then, number 3, the way the investigation into the fire thing is speeding up. We have had mysterious things happening in Liberia, and other cases, some of them are even forgotten, that involves human life, people dying. And that's not just petty people for water side, but you got important people dying. But you can't hear nothing about the police not even arresting people. In fact, broad daylight, they kill 2 individual people, living people. They grab them, threw mob action, they kill them red to red light. 1 individual were not arrested. But still, they have one fire thing here. They running with it.
Leave for, come on, man.
No, but I'm just giving my opinion. So we can transition.
It's a police investigation. In the Sweden, you live in America, you live in the UK. You live in America, you live in the UK, you live in Norway.
Yeah.
Some cases can take years for the investigation. And in fact, the police the Minister of Justice were on OKFM yesterday. And he said these cases have been investigated, and some of the findings
come up, and he's going to present them to the public. He'll present them to the president first, and he'll
Okay.
present
You
to
know,
to
this
the
government
public.
operates in the future. They always say we will, the future tense. So let's move on. Mr. or Dr. Stem, you will have for it. Let me give you
Okay,
Dr. Stem.
wait
We
for
we
everything. So,
we just want to
so
know,
Dr. Stem, you move on.
yeah,
That's not forgotten
what do
me,
you
but
do?
this is Paul Chilope, the
Hmm.
good friend of the late Thomas J.
Yep.
We met before at Thomas J's residence when you were here in the 90s studying. Welcome to
Yes.
the bottom into action. So it's good to see you, my brother. Welcome to
Yeah.
the bottom line
Good.
discussion.
Good to see you too. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Paul got some delay. You know, he's not. I think the internet or something, so he's not following. Right? He's not prompt. But I was trying to say, Dr. Stem, could you care to tell us, because according to what we see on your profile, you are engaged with some projects in Liberia. Could you just tell us what it is, and how long you've been doing that, and how long do you intend to continue doing that?
Okay. In 2008, I went to Liberia. I traveled from Monrovia through Grand Jide, went all the way to Harper, and just to assess things. And I realized that the education system. I mean, this was after the Civil War, after the 14 years of war, and there was a lot of the whole of the country was affected. Every aspect of the economy was affected. But one area that I have passion for, which is education, of course, because I'm in the field of education. I decided to focus on what I could do for to help improve the quality of education in Liberia. Uh, and so I decided that I was going to focus more on Maryland County because most of the time, everything that happens is in Monrovia. Monrovia became, and for most part now, it's still Monrovia is Liberia. Everything is in Monrovia. Everything, and so I decided that I have to go in the rural areas. I have to go into the southeastern region and help the people over there. And so I started by providing professional development workshops for teachers in Maryland County. I did that for about 3 years. And I realized that, I had no control over what I was doing. No control in the terms of the quality of what I was providing in relation to the output. Because I would train the teachers, and then when I go back, they go back to the same thing. And there's nothing much I can do about it because the teachers and the principals were not following up with the models that I implemented. So I decided that in 2010, I established Education First Incorporated. And in 2012, I decided to start a school in Harper. And I went to Harper, and I I didn't have land, but what I did was I started looking for a place to rent to start a school. And somebody gave me their house. It was about a 6 room house. And I started with Education First Academy with 40 children from kindergarten through second grade. The following year, the enrollment went up to 90 students. Then we went to third grade. And right after that, we had COVID, we had Ebola. And after Ebola, actually during Ebola, I actually wrote grants and got some money. And Education First donated. We built about 15 hand washing stations in Harper during Ebola time. And so in that process, we started looking for a building. I made a projection that the enrollment was going to increase. But fast forward, um, by the time we started, the enrollment had gone up to about 150. And currently, the school is now from kindergarten through 11th grade, and we have about 350 students. And the school is Education First Academy. We have a computer lab. We have art and craft program that just started last year, and we are leasing somebody's property for the school. So last year we bought a school building that we are going to renovate and add some extensions, and then we are going to move in those in the buildings. And our hope is to really have a modern building. Your question about how long am I going to do this? This is like my second wife or my third wife, but until death do us part. My focus is to bring it to a level where it becomes one of the best schools in the country. So that's my goal. We have plans for that, and we hope that the next 3 years we'll have our own building and improve the quality of education for the children over there. One of the reasons why I started from kindergarten is because when you look at the population of Liberia, okay, you have about 41% of the population are children. Okay, about 24% are adolescents and about 41% are youth. So Liberia has one of the youngest population in the world. And so if we do not focus on how to develop our schools, how to develop these young children, we don't know where we're heading to. The future of the country is going to be very bleak if we do not really focus on the children. And so that's how it was based on that premise that I decided to start from kindergarten instead of saying, okay, I'm going to have a high school. So some of the children have been in school from kindergarten, from pre-K all the way through 11th grade. So that's how I went into establishing a school in Maryland County. I actually had a branch in Nizo in Morovia, but I said, you know what, it wasn't working. I decided to focus on Maryland County first, and then if anything, I'll move to other southeastern cities, but not in Morovia, because they need me. They need us more than the city. There are a lot of schools in Morovia that have. So that's how I established the school. Yeah.
Okay. Francis, Paul, all of you from the southeast. So this is a good news for you guys. So any of you got any question for the doc?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Dr. Stem, from the Sunshine City, the Yellow City, and I myself, from that. My parents from that end. If you went to Fatima High, you went St. Francis. You probably your class know from my cousins, some of the Menzas, and yeah, so they all went to St. Francis and Fatima.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, Kipam High School. But anyway, thank you for what you do for Liberia in terms of education. It is a known fact that post-war Liberia education has been very below the belt in terms of the quality. But my concern here is that you are away in America, and I guess you have set some level of standard at the school in terms of education. So your I call it curriculum, I think should probably be aligned, with that of American or the Liberian curriculum. So how do you maintain a performance? How do you do your KPI in terms of your instructors and they follow what you want to do? You have them do.
Well, the as you know, one of the challenges we have across the country is teacher quality, and it's even recruiting teachers in the southeastern region is very challenging. So we have some of our teachers. We have about 32 staff. Out of that, about 23 of them are instructional staff. Some of our teachers are Tubman University graduates. The principal graduated from Tubman University. We also use students in the education program as part-time teachers in our school. And then we also have some teachers who have retired. They come in as full-time teachers. And I provide professional development workshops at least twice a year for for the school. I've done a few of the workshops on Zoom from here, and when I'm there, I also do workshops with the teachers. I have a team that help me, run the day-to-day activities of the school. We have a vice principal for instruction and a vice principal for administration, and they are responsible for example, the vice president for instruction, he runs the day-to-day instructional aspect of the school. So he does teacher evaluations. He makes sure that he creates the schedule and so on. So at the end of every semester, the school meet and discuss about teacher quality. Then at the end of the school year, we also look at teacher quality. We are not where we want to be, but gradually we'll get there. As time goes by, I'm going to spend more time at the school and support the teachers over there. But the problem is maintaining high quality teachers. And so I have a model that I'm going to implement this coming summer about the training of the teachers and then the follow up. The key thing is the follow up. How to follow up to make sure that they're implementing the strategies. Our curriculum is basically aligned with the Ministry of Education curriculum, because at the end of the day, the students are taking the exams that were prescribed by the Ministry of Education through the West African Examination Council. So our curriculum is aligned with the Ministry of Education curriculum, but with some modifications in terms of the content and the topics.
I mean, there to a follow up. There's a huge uh, capacity of Marylanders outside the country. Uh, are you contemplating on having, how do you call it, an educational bank, a knowledge bank, where a pool of professionals where uh, we can come in? I want to say that, well, we can come in and go to a semester at the school, help provide some quality supervision in the school. In terms of various courses, it could be economics, it could be history, it could be mathematics. Is there any plan to use your
Um,
people for
I,
that company?
I haven't set up a plan, but this is something that maybe you can take a lead on for all of us to work together and create a database of Marylanders. We do have the National Association of Marylanders in the United States and in Canada, called NAMCAL, and Maryland County Association, and they focus more on development projects, including aspects of education and infrastructure. But we are not really organized in terms of creating a database of Marylanders that can go back to Maryland, and that's a great idea actually to have that set up. I think that we Marylanders in diaspora should be part of the uh, the process of developing Maryland County by being in at a level with the superintendent. For example, the superintendent office, they have Maryland County Board of Education. So, and I think we should be part of that, so that we can actually contribute to help develop, and in all areas, even in health, in agriculture. We who are diaspora should be more proactive and be part of that process, because my thing is that if we are investing our resources in the county, we should have a say, we should have a voice. In order to have a voice, we have to be part of what? The decision making platform. So it's something that we can start working on, but I haven't really gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, leave off. Go ahead.
Okay. I must say it's a good endeavor because, as the the name implies, education first. And for those of us who went to school in the middle 70s and or the early 70s, coming to the early 80s, and then graduating from Liberia, we knew what the educational system of Liberia was, as compared to what it is today. You got students graduating, and some of them say they're graduating from college, but they can hardly construct a fitting sentence, and that is troubling for a country like Liberia. Uh, when we look at several factors to consider, for instance, the number of youths that are out of school now, and the number of children that did not go to school during the wartime, whose future was wasted educationally, and the number again that is being affected by the pandemic, the drug pandemic. So we see Liberia is gradually losing human resource, and this is one thing that is concerning. A lot of people think about the economic side, right? People thinking, okay, we'll miss money, we'll do this, we'll do that. But besides the money aspect, we are losing human resource, and this should claim the attention of the authorities. There are certain things that we have control over, okay, like redeeming our kids by giving a quality education that we have control over because it is manageable, okay, unlike other things like certain things that we do not have control over, like death and sicknesses, pandemic, which we will fight but we cannot control. But to educate your citizens, that you have control over if you're willing to do. So I want to say a big thank you for that project. But one question I want to ask: how much cooperation are you receiving from the Ministry of Education? And the reason I ask the question is that from the onset, you said Liberia is literally Monrovia, which all of us there can attest to, because everything revolves around the seat of government in Monrovia. Supplies to schools, we can read there from Monrovia before you can go to the interior part. Healthcare, the same thing, Monrovia. Just about everything, even the breath that God gave us to breathe, it's like we got to get it from Monrovia before we send it to the leeward counties. So, how much cooperation are you receiving from the Ministry of Education in terms of?
Oh, that's my friend. Yeah. I see her.
Oh, somebody in the background. What?
Yeah, there is somebody in the background that
I
are
think it's
unable.
Paul.
I still there, but then her niece, was living there.
Paul, will you
Paul,
mute yourself?
is Paul.
Okay, wait, let me see.
Some
But Paul is
somebody's in
muted
the.
actually. Yeah, but
Okay.
that was the question basically, Doc. How
Oh,
much cooperation
well,
are you receiving from government in terms of everything?
zero.
Zero.
We
And
don't
how do you
receive.
survive? How do you survive
Well,
in
yep.
a situation like that?
I do solicit funding from friends and colleagues. For example, I have friends in the United States here who sponsor kids at the school. I do in the past. I've been, I write small grants. For example, when we did a Ebola project, I got $10,000 from Friends of Liberia. Um, and then I also, we also do a gala. Last year we did, we had a program in Maryland State, the state of Maryland here, to raise funds. So, and then we have, the students pay minimal, very small amount of money, and that was from the beginning, I was paying the teachers from my pocket, okay, for about 5 years. Later on, we generated some funds, and now the school takes care of the payroll. But we have not gotten any support from the government of Liberia whatsoever.
But
And
have you tried to get some support and you are denied, or just that you?
there's no mechanism in place to go and get support. Maybe there is, and I haven't explored it. But trust me, I have been at the Ministry of Education when Mill was around in Liberia. Getting to Maryland County was difficult in terms of the road. I went through the Ministry of Education to arrange.
I think he's getting called, because when he's using his phone, and then the moment you get call or text or something like that, it can distract you. But I
Yeah,
think
look.
Francis, you heard him. It's alarming To hear
Yeah,
that there is so much
it's
missing piece.
alarming. But before we go to whatever whatever support he's getting from the Ministry of Education or the
Mm,
Ministry of Finance, look, I will tell you for a fact, the Liberian education system started to deteriorate around 1985 or so, like that. After the war, after the coup. I would tell you for a fact because the graduates of school from some people, I mean, who literally,
Can you hear
couldn't.
me?
yeah, we hear you.
Okay, that that's why I don't like to use the phone because the call come in and then I get knocked off. So,
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
exactly what I said. Because the moment you get called, you get kicked out.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, I've not gotten any support by this time in some countries. Okay, in some Africa, not even United States or Europe. In some African countries, right on the west coast of Africa, some of the countries, once you start a school, after 3 or 4 years, the government comes in and they start to support. If you want land, they help you to get a land, get a loan and build your school. And they assume the responsibility of paying the teachers. But Liberia doesn't have that system. If anything, sometimes they want to get money from you because they think they're coming with money from America. But
Uh,
we have not
or
gotten any resources from the Ministry of Education. No.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me just I know it's not, there's not a defense for the Ministry of Education. Look, but there is a proliferation of schools in Liberia. Oh my God. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I would term those schools, classify them as substandard schools. And if the government, the Ministry of Education has to subsidize schools, I mean, it's gonna be in the millions of dollars, probably higher than the Liberian budget because every four corner house or structure is a school in Monrovia. I was in that brother 3 4 years ago. It is alarming. And you see
Uh,
people going to school, and and your kids are not, they are not learning anything. If you sit down, you have a conversation with these children, especially where the rudimentary aspect, where more focus has to be placed on the elementary. I can brag. I had a solid elementary education from the county schools in Michaels. We had the sisters there and the brothers from Ireland teaching people how SRA. You have to read. By the time you are in sixth grade, you could read off the hook. But now the problem is with the substandard schools. But
y-
yeah, let me just ask this question.
let me address that first.
Yeah,
You
okay, sure.
see, if you want to have a system in place to support schools, you will need a very rigorous standard for establishing schools. Okay, because you see the standards are on the books, but the implementation is not there. So if you have standards in place and you implement those standards, you won't have all these bogus, educational institutions that you're talking about. And then I'm not saying that the government should support all the schools, but after certain time, after 5 years or so, an evaluation of a school and looking at the performance based on exams and all that, whatever measure you want to use, based on that, you said, okay, this school is ready to go. How can we support this school? I'm not saying that the government should just haphazardly go and support all the schools in Liberia. No. What I'm saying is, even if you're not taking over the payroll or in terms of resources, materials. The public schools, look, don't get me started. Some of the public schools in southeastern region, I was in a public, at Kipama High School doing a workshop, and the materials that the supply from the Ministry of Education, the local branch that came in, it was terrible. How can you give a whole school about 10 pens and 7 poster boards and you say that's the material for school? And So we're not even helping the public schools that we have, especially those that in the sub region of the country, the southeastern region and so on. They are, I mean, some of the classrooms that when you go there, you say, wow, and so we need to implement the standards that we have, and people have to be honest. People have to be patriotic and say, hey, this, we're going to give you this number of months or years to fix your school and bring it to standard. Otherwise, because right now, look, how can you have WAS exams when schools don't have labs? They don't have science lab. How do you expect students to pass the science exams? Physics, chemistry, biology, So the first you have to start with the standard. How you accredit schools, you have to be really rigorous, and then you move on to, okay, now what do we do about supporting some of these schools?
And I think Francis can remember a couple of weeks back or months back, we have similar discussions like they where I think in the newspaper story, there's a group that we understand was established a very long time ago. They're supposed to be accrediting schools. They're supposed to be certificating schools, and they were now just putting themselves together. After several years, that group has not been functional. Probably somebody from somewhere discovered that paper in the Ministry of Education, and they said, "Oh no, it's time to put this kind of thing together." And they were now complaining about substandard schools, when they should be regulating schools.
No.
And as Francis rightly said, the proliferation of schools in Liberia, I think it's alarming. Where you can see one room somewhere by somebody's house and it's a school. I've been in the educational sector for a very long time. When I left high school in 1982, my very first job was to teach, and I was teaching at the military barracks. I remember the coup had just taken place in 1983. I was teaching captains, majors in a night school. And then I went on to teach morning school, elementary school, and that I did from 1983 all the way to 1988 before I started working as a journalist at a radio station. So, and even today, I'm still in the education. I work in the government here at a junior high school. I'm still in the education sector. So I've been in this for a very long time. And I know, like here, you just spoke about something, Dr. Stem, that you are not proposing that government should support all the schools, but at least let it do something. And here, just the junior high school that I work, the budget for that school, I think it's even 2 times more than the budget for the University of Liberia. Okay. And
Yeah.
can you imagine that these children, they are entitled, everybody's entitled to one pack of pencil every day. I'm not saying week, every day, one pack of pencil, which I think about 8 pencils in a small pack. Okay, erasers pack, I'm not talking about it. So as a result, you see, when the children go to school, the pencils scatter all in the hallway. Because they imagine every day getting pack of pencil. So when the incentives are not there, and you also mentioned that there is format in place, but there's standard in place, but the implementation, if all of these things are lacking, how do you think, as an educator who is also investing in education in Liberia, I just want to ask you the question, address it from your own perspective. How do you think we can forge ahead to standardize or to improve the system in Liberia if government is now willing to provide those necessities?
Well, I think not that the government is now willing. I think the new core of ministers and deputies and directors at the Ministry of Education, they have this on their agenda.
People keep calling. I know they will call and describe this, man. But I think we really discussing a very important thing. Francis, you here, you want to see why you want
even at the university level in Liberia, I mean, the accreditation for some schools, they are university status. Are you kidding me? I mean, do we need to have all the universities in the country that can provide education?
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. The same problem with K through 12. We're talking about having policies in place. Accrediting higher ed has become, I don't know, I'm sure again they do have something in place, but the accreditation of higher education, institutions, I think that it needs to be revisited. It's really, really, really bad that students, schools, universities, and colleges are being accredited, and you wonder how do they get
They are not
accredited?
even being accredited because I just told you that a couple of weeks back on this particular program we did.
They got the higher education board in Liberia.
They do. They have the commissioner for higher education.
They've been operating for years. But the thing, look, we know I got schools in my country that have been community colleges for 100 years. They stay at that level. They improve upon that. But we have this community college after 2-3 years. They elevate them to graduate
university, a 4-year program.
4 years.
I was surprised to hear
tertiary education
university
is not for joke.
University, all the things.
Tertiary education is not for joke. What will make Margaret everything in our country?
Yep. I think even with the setup of the community colleges, it has to be well thought out and planned, not just not use it as a base for political gains, because people establishing you can't just open a community college and say, okay, Sino Community College or Greenville Community College and so on. You have to plan it. You need the resources and plan it. It's not just building. It's not a number of higher education that in a country that matters. It is the quality. Okay, so if you want to have a state system, which is the government, a public higher education system, you need to have the resources. Liberia is not that big that you can split it up into about 4 or 5 regions or 6 regions and have community college. But you can't have one community college next door to another community college in the same county, right next door. And they don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the resources. So it is not the number of community colleges that matters, it is the quality. So it's better to have 5 or 6 community colleges owned by the government and well equipped than to have all these community colleges all over the country.
Something I just want to interject.
After you're coming.
Yeah, and I think Paul will come in later. I know Paul is still now, but I remember when we used to have only 2 universities in Liberia, Cottington and LU.
It just took it from my mind.
You found out that at that time the competition was very high, the quality of education was very high, because if you cannot enter LU, you cannot enter Cottington. That means you're not qualified. So people used to study, but right now you got a proliferation of the mushroom universities all over the place. So if you go to one university or something like Bogwati, graduation from high school, and you can hardly pass your a simple test, so you cannot go. I remember when we graduated from high school those days, to go to LU, you got to take tests, okay? And when you're going to sit for that entrance exam, it's like imagine you already taking YA. Then you're going to take that entrance again. It knows to be easy.
The big 5.
Big 5. Big 5 problems. Those of us that scale of number will get dry.
That was my thesis when I was doing my master's at University of Cardiff about the problem solving component of LU entrance exam. Why students were failing that part of the test. That was my research. But the thing is, it's not so much about having 2 universities, because at that time the population of Liberia was 2 point something million or so. Now Liberia, the population is 5 million. Okay, 5.5 million. So you have more people, the population has increased, and so you need more higher ed, programs. But you have to create standard. You need standards. University of Liberia, as it is, cannot accommodate 22,000 students. Okay, that's the number of students at University of Liberia. You don't have the resources for the capacity and the resources for that. Even if the buildings are there, they don't have the resources to do that. And so having private universities is fine, but you need to regulate. There has to be regulations, very stringent regulations that once you go through that, you know that you are having some level of quality at that university and not just any kind of university around.
One quick
That's
question before
eh,
Paul comes in because he's been away for a while. Now, I heard you say you are chair on some board of some. What was that in the US?
oh, I'm the chair of the childhood education program at my university
Okay, fine.
for the
Now,
past 6 years. Yeah.
yeah, it means that you've gone through the system in the US and you know exactly how it works. But the question here is, okay, having major government universities like LU and with all of its paraphernalia, like Defender Campus and all the things, and then having private universities that government can subsidize, which one you think will be very functional in terms of providing the quality education we're talking about?
Well, I think first and foremost, the government should fund the government universities first and bring it to a high level standard, because you want to use the government university as a yardstick for
As
the
a
private
benchmark.
universities. Okay, so you want to increase the standard in the public university so that any private university that is coming in will say, "Hey, you know what, we have to meet this time because the public university is cheaper than the private university." Okay, oftentimes some private universities they have funding from outside, and and at times becomes better than public university. But Liberia is not that case. The education has become money making venture. Period. From kindergarten through college, people open schools because they want to make money. Okay, so it has become a serious business. Yeah, in the United States, higher ed and so on is business. They have business component, but education in Liberia, people open schools because I'm opening school. Opening school and churches in Liberia is money making. It's not, you either open a school or a church to make fast money. Okay, and so the government, the Minister of Education has to come up with some really serious standards. Whatever they have in the archives or whatever they have in the Minister of Education, we have to start implementing them, and you implement them with honesty and with patriotism. One of the issues that we have is allowing Liberians in diaspora the opportunity to thrive in a Liberian society, as opposed to seeing them as a threat. It's very important. And then the other thing is we have to put Liberia first and its citizens first. Lots of projects go to Liberia, they give it to foreigners. A lot of projects, education projects, go to Liberia, they give it to some organization that is not Liberia based. And the other thing is we should stop accepting band aid for education. Somebody will come and say, "Oh, this program will work," and then we accept it. We need a system in place, and so that when anybody comes in and say, "We want to help to help improve education in Liberia," we say, "Okay, here is our standard." It's not about, "Oh, whatever you give us, we will take it." No, we need a standard, and I'm sure it is there. It's just that it's not being implemented. And one typical example is the amount of money that was spent on bridge program in Liberia. That money could have gone to a group of Liberians who have run that public schools in Liberia far better than the bridge program.
Hmm.
So we have to trust our own people. We have to trust the people in diaspora. You say, "Okay, you know what? I'm investing in the school in Liberia, or I'm going to start this business in Liberia. What can I get?" It's more difficult for me to get a loan in Liberia than a Lebanese man.
Yeah.
If I went to Liberia now, and I tried it before, I went to open a school. use my house as a collateral. I couldn't get a loan. I couldn't. But
Mm.
Lebanese man or Indian man will go to the bank and get a loan.
Right. Good good evening, doctor. I've been struggling with my internet. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Doc, I've got a question for you. Were you shortlisted for the university job?
I knew that was going to come up. I wasn't shortlisted.
Right.
I wasn't shortlisted. I
Did you
applied.
apply? Did you
Yes,
apply?
I applied, and I refused to submit my transcripts because I felt that that's not the kind of job for me to submit transcript for. It's not entry level job. They requested for transcript, but I did not submit transcript, so I wasn't shortlisted.
Right. Okay. The reason why I asked that question is you said something about Liberians in the diaspora they should be given that opportunity because in any nation, the diaspora drive the nation in every country in the world. So what my question to you regarding the appointee, the new president of the University of Liberia, what is for me, in my opinion, before I ask my question, I think I was against the appointment of the lady being that who have qualified Liberians all over the world, although she married to a Liberian, but I was against it. But then we had a discussion here, and Linford brought in something that, yes, we should give opportunity to other people. So, and when I saw your name on that list of 15%, then okay, so we have Dr. Stem is there. Another fellow came from the UK called Dr. Peter Humphrey is there. These are people that come from the diaspora. Why were they not given that opportunity to serve into that role? That was my argument. So what your take on the appointment
Well,
of woman?
I have been in higher education since 2000, and I have taught in about 5 different universities in the United States. I have no problem with who becomes president of the University of Liberia, whether it's a Liberian or a non-Liberian, because you know I'm here. I'm chairing a department, and I wasn't born in the United States.
Yeah.
So and secondly, education should be depoliticized.
Right.
Okay, the president of the country should not be appointing principal for MCSS, the principal for BWI. These are professional careers that need to be handled by professionals. Okay. Yes, the University of Liberia president can, recommend to the president and so on, but the board should make the final decision. Because what happens with political appointment of that nature is that whoever is appointed tend to be more focusing on how to please the president or whoever appointed him or her than to serve the people.
Right.
So certain jobs should be for professionals. Certain appointments has to be based on professional qualifications and experience, and not by political reason or political connection.
Right.
The whole idea of, oh, let me go talk to this person here to help me get this job at a university. We have to stop it. It has to stop. Because once somebody helps you to get that job at a university, they want something back.
Yeah.
And I'm talking from personal experience when I taught on BWI, which I will not go into, but we have to stop that. So my take on the appointment, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with appointing somebody who is qualified to do the job from wherever part of the world he or she comes from, whatever their political affiliation, as long as they do the job, for the country, that's fine with me. I have no problem with that. And and
Th- th-
and 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 the other thing is that I just decided that I'm not submitting my transcript. It was a personal choice. That I didn't think that was a job for me to submit a transcript.
Okay.
I
So
yeah.
I just want to pick it back to something you said about the university have 20,000 students. I had a contract with King's College in London here. And what I realized, King College, if you go to London, King College have over 25 different sites where students can go. So if the University of Liberia is the crown jewel of education in that country, you don't think this is where the government should spend money and build other premises around the country that under one university so you can have more people there because the University of Liberia had that standard. Those who graduated from in the 80s from the university, they came to the West, they automatically went into higher learning. But now you have to come, if you come into the UK, you have to do their how they call it A level, which is wrong. So you don't think this is the time that the university spread all over the country instead of just being one place?
Well, that's what they are doing, but they don't call it University of Liberia. They call it they have the community colleges and university in excuse me, university in Lofa, university. We have Tubman University in Maryland County. That's owned by the Liberian government. So they're spreading the universities out, but you can that's one model. Another model is University of Liberia in Lofa County, University of Liberia in Bong County, University of Liberia in Nimba County, or University of Liberia in whatever county. You can also use that model, or the government can establish X number of universities in different parts of the country. But the country has to be divided. Liberia is a small country, and we don't have the resources. So you divide the country into some geographical region so that one region will have one university, another region, another university, and so on, so that and then you build campuses. You build those campuses so students can stay on campus instead of having one university in Bolahun, another university in Kolahun. So in our one Lofa County, you have two universities. I'm just using as an example. Okay, so you build one university in Hapo, and then you build another university in Fishtown, River G, which is 73 miles away. Yeah, that's fine, but you don't have the enrollments that you can sustain over there because it's a very small number. You have 500 students and so on. So you consolidate that into a university, two universities in the southeastern region, two in the central, two in the north, and so on. And then you have the big campus of University of Liberia. And then we also have to see if you have to decentralize a lot of the things so that students will go into the different counties to go to university instead of staying in Monrovia.
Yeah.
But with the infrastructure that we have in Monrovia, the 22,000 students that we have, I think it's a lot. It's a lot of students, and because the population of Monrovia now is over 1 million people. So what do you expect? Everybody's in Monrovia. So how do you decentralize? And you don't just build schools and decentralize. No, you also have to. You need the infrastructure, the electricity, the internet, and everything has to be decentralized so that people will have, they will have a reason to go into those counties to go to school.
That's right. And before Francis come in, Francis said something which caught my attention that about 1985, the educational system in Liberia started going down. And today we get more people that I remember it was during the Ellen Johnson administration. Somebody instituted, or I think the administrator entering test. Only 2 or 3% passed, and it became a very big headline in the country. So that means the foundation of the educational system is weaker. Isn't this the time that the government focus on the foundation before we focus at the top? Because
Yep.
if the foundation is solid, then you can try to go up there. So I don't know what will be a
I, I
recommendation.
I agree with you, and that's the reason why I started from kindergarten, and the students are going through the system. Okay, you have to build a strong elementary school, early childhood program, elementary, the middle school, and then the high school before you get into the universities. So we need to put a lot of resources into the pre-K through 12th grade program. The other thing is that, and I've said this on different platforms, that the WAS exam, which when I was doing our days was what the West African exams, the national exam, should be administered in the 11th grade, not the 12th grade. Because if you take the national exam in the 12th grade and you are not successful, okay, and you don't want to come back, what makes you think that this person will pass the exam the next time around after he had left the school? So if you take the exam in the 11th grade, and then if you don't, if you're not successful, you take it again the following year in the 12th grade. So you are still in school while you are taking that exam. We have to move away from what other people are doing and make our education system culturally relevant. We have to base it on the needs of Liberians. It shouldn't be cut and paste education system. It shouldn't be cut and paste curriculum. It has to be culturally relevant to us, Liberians. Yes, we're meeting international, standards, but the standards should also meet us. The assessment should not drive the curriculum. The curriculum drives assessment. Here is my curriculum, and based on this is how I'm going to assess students. You don't say, this is the assessment. Oh, so let's teach the assessment. Students are not learning. It's all memorization. All memorization. After that, it's gone. Okay, so we have to create a system where we have a curriculum that is culturally relevant. So, for example, you're teaching, I'm going to use math as an example, okay? You're teaching a math class to a group of, let's say, 7th graders or 8th graders, okay? And the topic has to do with, let me use science. You're teaching, let's say, sink or float in science. Why do objects sink or float? Okay. We are expecting to use materials from abroad and so on. The teachers have to be trained to use local resources. For example, the reason behind why objects sink or float has nothing to do with the culture and all that. But the material you use has to be what? Relatable. It has to be contextual to the children. So to teach that, you can use bananas and say, okay, can a banana float or sink? Very simple as that. You have a pan of water in a classroom. You ask the kids, can this sink or float? You put it in. They give you observation. That's an inquiry base. Why did it sink? Why did it float? What happens if I peel the banana and I put the edible part in the water? Will it sink or float? Okay. You don't need materials from the United States or Europe to teach that. But because the teacher does not have the content knowledge, so they teach the memorization. And so there are two things. The teacher training program we have to look at, and also how do we develop those who are already in the profession. We need to have some programs for these teachers. What I do with some teachers, I have this model that I wrote a grant on, and the Liberian side of that grant they didn't follow up. You set up a professional development programs, professional development schools, professional development centers, where teachers are observing the classroom, they videotape themselves, okay, and analyze it. That's part of teacher training while they are on the job. And then you also focus on how do we change the way we train teachers. And you have to incentivize the teachers to go to the rural areas to do that. Okay, so there's a lot of work that we need to do, but we have to start it from what? From somewhere. And that somewhere is the teacher quality. You start with the teacher quality, and then you look at the curriculum. Because some of the teachers don't even know when last they opened the Liberian National Curriculum. They don't know. They don't know. They don't even know how to write it. So why should I teach about dollars and cents in Liberian school when we don't have cents in the Liberian everyday life. There are no 1 cent, 10 cent anymore. So why
It's
should I
gone.
teach that? It is not culturally realistic. You have to remove that from the curriculum. That's what I
Okay.
mean by culturally
We just,
relevant
we just want
curriculum.
to inform our viewers that if you want to make contribution, you want to ask a doc any question, you can call in. The numbers are right on the board. I don't know how clear you see it, but I can repeat the number. The number is my number is +47. That's the country code. +47 99450 882. Once again, +47 99450 882. You can call it Doc and ask your question or even make your contribution. But that one question I
So
want to ask.
let me give you another example. Let's
Yeah.
say you gave 3 Liberian children, right, $50 to share. Okay, $50 to share. How are they going to share it? In a math classroom, you say what, 50 divided by 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you see, in our culture, we don't share according to 50 divided by 3. We share according to what? Ages.
Yes. Man, I
So
mean, I the older man. Let me get
exactly so. So the
3 and I
child,
50 now. Let me get 20 or 2 and I get 15, 50.
so the child is coming to that problem with a social cultural meaning of the word division. And so you use that to build, okay, now we're talking about equality, that you have to share equally. Now, if you divide 50 by 3, what do you get?
You get for the I mean, 16,
$16 something, right?
yeah.
Where you going to get it with the $1 from to make it 16? They get $10 and $5. There's no. So what they will do is what? They will share the money, maybe $15 each, and use the $5 to buy candy and share it.
Why can't they share?
Yes. So so you have to make it relevant to the kids.
Live for our
Because
team
that's what they're
friends.
experiencing each and every day.
No, the question is Bernie. It's a question that is a follow up to what Francis
But
will have all the time.
I think you should give Francis a chance because he's
I
been
know,
patient.
but I say Francis will have the time. Oh, Doc, there is one question that I say Bernie me. I can't let it go. This question is, we discussed here that you propose it that Liberians in the diaspora should be given the opportunity to come and serve their country. They should be given the facilities. Now, you were given the opportunity. You were shortlisted, and you were given your criteria for this workplace that you want or that they wanted you to serve in. And that criteria was very simple. That's the criteria for that place that bring your what was it?
Transcript.
Your transcript, and you refuse. So if all Liberians in the diaspora would do seem like you, who do we blame? Do we blame the government or do we blame ourselves? That oh no, I can't because this every workplace got our own rules. So how do
I agree. I don't blame I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I take the blame myself. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's what I was thinking about. What happened to the previous presidents? Where did they submit transcripts? Okay. The other thing is, if I did not submit my transcript, right, and I'm on the list, what you do is you inform the person and say, hey, you have 2 more days to go. You have not sent your transcript in. When you look for a job, you go for a job interview and they look at your file. When something is missing, they inform you that you are missing this. And then that's called equity. You're giving everybody the same level. But I made it easy for them not to shortlist me because I didn't submit transcript. And personally, even tomorrow, if you say I should submit it, I won't submit it because I don't think that I should be submitting transcript to be president of the University of Liberia, because transcript does not tell you anything about my experience and my qualification to do the job.
That's right.
Okay,
that's where I'm coming from. That's the stubbornness in me. That's me. So if because of that, if I really want you, I look at your resume, I look at your experience, and I really want you, I will hire you. Or I will call you and say, hey, you need one more document, please submit it. We want to shortlist you. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not blaming
Yeah,
anybody. I'm just saying that that's where I'm coming from.
but
And
if
maybe in the future, if there's another chance, I will submit my transcripts. But you know
but
how many universities I went to? I went to Covington University, University of Bristol, University of Cardiff, University of Exeter, Covington, University of Connecticut. I gotta get transcripts from all of these places.
The last one, the last university, you could have brought that one.
but
It didn't say. It said submit all transcripts. It didn't say.
that's right.
Yeah,
Especially
Doc. I have a concern. It has to do with the continuation of your vision and the continuation of your of the institution. I'm a little premise. God forbid something happened to you, like you pass or something, you get become invalid or something. That's so no, God forbid, because it happened to this guy Moa. This guy, he was in river steps or some part of. He built a very beautiful school, and he passed the day he was loading the container, and that school is there. I don't know what happened to his wife. I know it's just there. I don't know. I have no information. So, do you have any kind of a plan? In the case of any eventuality that this, your vision, your plan may live after you.
Absolutely. That is why I strongly believe that we have to invest in the youth of Liberia. I have a group of people that work, younger generation, that are working with me. And I will continue to bring a circle of young people who will continue with the legacy. We have to develop people to take over. And even I'm not going to do this forever. At some point I would say, you know what, let me relax and oversee what is happening and so on. And so that process is in place, working on people, a group of people that will take over in case I cannot continue, or I leave this world, so that the legacy will continue. Yes. And you see, one of the issues that we have in our country is that when we talk about development, when we're investing in any development project, we don't think about the development, the human development aspect. Whoever is going to work for you, you have to develop the mindset, because the mindset of our people is not the same as 40 years ago. So you have to, for example, in my school, when a child gets a scholarship, okay, the parent has to go and volunteer in the school, maybe 2 hours a month or 3 hours a semester and so on. It is not because I want them to do the work. I'm telling them that it's important to give back. If somebody gives you, $100 to pay your child's school fees, you should also give back. And by giving back, you know, it's self-fulfilling. And so go back to the school and do something. And so you have to develop the mindset of the people, at the same time developing what the education system and also the human capacity. You have to focus on the mindset. And so for me, I focus a lot on the mindset, that, and also what happens when I cannot continue. And so yeah, I have plans, on continue the legacy. It is not just about me and doing this and then after that it dies down. No.
wow. Uh, Doc, I'm trying to find out something. You in the educational system in Liberia, does the schools in Liberia principal or president make recommendation to the Ministry of Education the way they want the system to run? Do you have that opportunity to do that, make
No.
recommendation? They don't.
No.
Wow. Because the reason,
Everything comes from the Ministry of Education to the principals and the schools, and they
right.
go through the county and district education officers.
The reason why I asked that question, you're talking about the was the wire or whatever.
Yeah,
In the UK here, the kids start the A level preparation from year 9. They
yeah,
start taking exam from year 9. So when they reach to that stage, they have already gone through that process. So the grades that they obtain from there carry through up. So when they reach to the A level now, they decide, say, okay, I'm going to do biology. So they go into that exam, they're going to focus to get A in biology because they've gone through that process. And what you say is right. If the school start building them from maybe 10th grade up to 12th grade, then they will come out good. So I
yeah.
think it's so now I asked, do schools make recommendation to the ministry? That's where that question came from.
They have the system they have. I think they are just implementing that. Maybe it just came out maybe the past couple of years. Students can select certain subjects as their key specialty, and then that's what they will focus on. But most schools want their students to take all the exams. In case they don't pass in the specialty area, they still have scores that will allow them to go to the university. So we have to decide on if you like the British system, the English system, where at year 16, at age 16, you either go to the vocational technical and then or the A levels, because not everybody goes to A level. From A level, you go to university. And when I was there, we were the first group that started implementing the national curriculum in England. Okay, so the system there is slightly different. So in Liberia, and you see, that's the other thing. I was reading some of the stuff from education website. We had now moved from American English and spelling to a mixed match. There's some places you see maths, which is the English way of saying maths. And then so we're mixing it up. So we even have to decide on, are we going to go with the American system or the English system instead of mixing everything up? Okay, so we have to decide on what works for us for the WAS exams, and then we dictate to WAS, the West Africa Exam Council, that this is what we want. But that whatever we want should be up to the WAS standards, but it has to be relevant to us.
Yeah. One last question from me. When we were growing up and went to school, we had the education system based on our climate, the weather in Liberia, because rainy season was the time that we couldn't go out for. It was home to study. Dry season, we went in the interior to help our parents to farm. So when you're talking about the Liberian way of doing things, do you think it's about time that they bring that system back? Because we're not in the same climate with the Europeans. When it's winter, the children study in Liberia. When rainy season, we should be studying. Then if they took the thing around to please the western side and forgot about the Liberianness. So it's
Exactly.
the
Yep.
recommendation that we all can call for, bring that system back, because rainy season, you get nowhere to go. You focus on studying.
Yep. Yep. And it's even hard to travel to go to school. Let me tell you. Let me give you an example. I woke up one morning I think it was in June. I was in Harper. I woke up one morning, it was raining heavily. I came outside. I met a young lady sitting on my porch. I said, "What's happening?" So I'm waiting for the rain to stop. I said, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going to school. I'm going to take the national exam, the WAS exam." She's waiting. The young lady could not. The rain was so heavy, she could not even take a bike or take umbrella to go to school. I said, "Are you not going to be late?" She said, "Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, because when I get there, they will tell me that I'm late. I'm not going to take the exam." And you know what happened? That young lady, come to find out, she was at a WAS exam, and she has a baby, 18 years old. She was taking WAS exam when she went into labor.
What?
Yes, I'm telling you. She was taking she went into labor, and they didn't want her to leave from taking, to go to the hospital. Finally, she went to the hospital and had a baby. And she's still taking the WAS exam the next day, the following day, the next day. And then what happens? They go to the exam hall. They say the proctor is not there. The exam. So the math exam took about 3-4 weeks for them to take the exam. Now, what kind of system is that? What kind of system is that? How do you expect the kids to pass after going back and forth for 2, 3, 4 days? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And for some of us, they see us as being very strict.
And that doesn't easily work in Liberia, being very strict. But guys, I
No.
think I think we have less than 10 minutes, so we
Yes.
gotta let it down go. And even we ourselves, it's late from our side. So in a minute each, probably you guys have some final words for a doc, and then we'll let him give us his parting comment.
Well, for me, I would like to thank Dr. Stem. I know you did it related to Martin Stem. I think so.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And
I I even I even extended the I gave him the link. I don't know whether he's on, but yeah.
I know even Liberia play basketball though. His my late uncle had a mother. They share my late cousin and share the same mother.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I had no Melvin Stem as well. We went to university together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's go people on that side. But anyway, Doc, I want to thank you so much for what you do for our county and Liberia in particular. After the show, probably we can share some contact, and I'll be happy to contribute anything it has to do with Maryland County. Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, I have I have my family from Plebo. I spent
Mm-hmm.
some time and so yeah. So thank you again, and it was an interesting show. A lot of things were were on earth was said here that I did not have you know prior knowledge about. It was educational. So thank you again, and hope to have you around again. I mean, I would say this one the shows we have. That was very interesting. We had last week. We had this guy from President, Gabriel R.H. Williams. That was I was not on the show, but I thought it was a very interesting show as well. A lot of things were said. So thank you again, and I will look forward to seeing you. Yeah, and I will share contacts in the back.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure too.
Well, thank you for your appearance on the bottom line. You're welcome. This should be your home. We were here in the 90s. You ran away from us, and surprise, surprise to see you on the program tonight. So I'm happy to see you. But
Yes.
also, I have, although my parents came from River G, but I have a LinkedIn Harper. I was born in Benelux.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm from
Hoffman
Hoffman
Station.
Station. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where I grew, and I started with small Catholic school when my dad was working at J.J. Dawson Hospital there. So partly I'm Maryland to see because that's where I was born. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's good to have here. The interaction was great, and that it should be your last on the program. And thank you for the good work you're doing in the county. And I hope everything goes well. And I hope that the government give you a helping hand too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
What they pay that man come and say here today? They pay the I mean, Global been talking. I mean, they show in right here.
everybody from the southeast here. I'm the you see, and interestingly, where I come from in Liberia is represented by almost all the people. I used to have
And that's why I went to school, Cottington.
my grandfather used to have a friend from Maryland County. This man, he ended up in Bon County and married all the all the pastor mixed with. When that man walking 3 kilometers away, he talking, you were hearing here. He used to call him Victor. That man, loud man, but very nice man. But I want to say thank you very much, Doc, and it was a nice time being here, and for me, I'm interested in education, and I always love these kind of discussions because this will help to redeem the kind of generation we have now. We lost half of the young people during the wartime, and after the war, those that survived, their educational background is very poor, and even those that were born after the war, right now, some of them we're losing them to kush and all of the drugs gradually. So it's concerning, and like we're saying some during the course of the program, I think government needs to really redeem the young people because uh, go 20 years from now, you have brain drain in Liberia. You know, people like you will not be very active 20, 30 years from now.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll be gone.
Yeah, so how do we replace people like you? So it's concerning. But it's good that you are here, and I don't know if there's anything that we didn't touch that you want us to touch, or you want to just let it probably know, and then we can take leave of you.
Well, what I would say is that, I mean, I get very emotional when it comes to talking about, education and education in Liberia in particular, and in a positive way, and the reason why I get emotional is because I see opportunities. In the midst of all the problems that we have, there are lots of opportunities in Liberia, and it's just a matter of having the right people at the right time in the right place. Things will work out, and I still optimistic that Liberia will move to a better place in the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But we have to start. We have to start now. We have to start now, and starting now meaning that we need policies that are in place should be implemented and come up with real national agenda for education. And that's what I was hoping for when they were vetting the ministers, that they will come, the ministers, those who are appointed, will come up with their robust agenda about education system or the health system or whatever system, whatever position they were holding, they were appointed for. And it was a little disappointing that I didn't hear anything about a real agenda for the Ministry of Education. Well, how we're going to move the country forward. And this is not just a ministry; it's also the legislature, because they have to disperse the finances and so on. But I still hope that there are better days ahead. We are going to survive this and improve the quality of education in Liberia, but it requires all of us to do that. It requires, everybody to do that. And we have to be nationalistic. We have to be patriotic. Put Liberians first. That's very fundamental. You have to put Liberians first. I'm not saying that in appointments and so on, but in opportunities, you have to put Liberians first. And I'm not saying that they should not, even if they're not qualified, they should be qualified and compete among ourselves. And during the war, Liberians traveled all over and they saw how the other countries treated Liberians. They had their country first before Liberian in order to invest in their countries. And we should also start putting our country first, our citizens first. The few people that we have that are qualified, let's find a way to bring them in and not to look them as adversaries. No, they should come in to help and support us in building the country. That's what I would say. And in every sector, this applies to every sector, you know. And the other thing is, maybe we should also look into decentralizing the education system where the counties take care of their own education system.
Well,
thank you very much. It was a pleasure, being on your show, and I look forward to another, session on this. And
sure.
I'm always open, so we can elevate the conversation to another level. Yes.
Probably we'll take a particular sector of the educational system and discuss that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
thank you so much.
We want to say thank you very much. It was very educational, and we learned a lot. I personally learned a lot from you today, and we hope that we'll have you once again. Have a nice day.
You too, and I hope Arsenal wins over the weekend. That's my team.
Oh, that's my team too. But
we are used to disappointment, but we get.
No, but what if you which team would decide would be, and One small team.
Yeah, we beat Zagreb. Yeah,
Zagreb.
Yeah,
Dynamo.
Dynamo Zagreb. Yeah.
Yeah, we beat. Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Chinople, what's your team?
I'm a Gunners. I started
Oh, really?
supporting Arsenal
So
from
is it that?
91. I am a
Oh,
Gunners.
yep.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the late Mr. Dr. J. He also
yes,
he was a gunner.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
we are Gunners, yes.
I bet Francis will not call a team. I bet your Jerry call your team.
Look, I'm a proud Red Devil. Arsenal, with that the league table heavy, you can throw it every year with to the end of the league. But then the league will end the league under the two heavy can
Exactly. Yeah.
They can play
You
for
see,
us.
we are Gunners. You
You
see, we can do
Yes.
the damage from the start. You see, when that what is called Arsenal, when they were building the big weapon, you eliminate your enemy from the start, and then you go relax now. So I just say, oh, this guy
Yeah,
just
man,
came
you
to
can't-
Man United. We'll finish doing it hard where they come and steal. Say,
And
okay,
steal it from us.
And then we run out of gunshots. So
yes,
At the end of the day. But anyway, guys, it was a nice
okay.
Friday.
All right.
It
You
was a
guys
nice
take
Friday
care.
evening, and we
Bye.
hope
yeah.
it was a
Bye.
nice Friday evening. We hope to have it dark here again so that we can
Okay.
go into some educational discussions
Yeah.
like this. So have a nice
Okay.
day, and I will talk to you in a bike or maybe tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay
Yeah.
then. All right.
Have
You
a
have a
good
great
weekend. I
weekend.
will get your details down. That's great. Leave for you should pass it on. I think it was a great show, guys. It was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So guys, that's it. I think our time is fast spent, and for me, I love the kind of show. Besides the political thing, all the political thing we're talking, I get few people benefiting. We talk, like we're wasting water on top, but then why at least some of us will learn some things. We understand how some of the systems should be. So I don't know what you guys took away, and maybe we can head to our closing and go. As for me, I like I said, that's my closing. I love the show. These are very the kind of information we should be passing on to authorities so they can act on. But again, this is Liberia. Like Paul always say, it's not a normal country.
Absolutely. I know Francis want to jump up because he's on a different time zone with us. For me, my time zone is just 1 hour behind you guys, so I'll stay flexible. I keep. But anyway, something I took from the thing about the girl that was 11 months pregnant or what. I took the exam that she want to give birth.
Yeah,
That's
determination.
that is really amazing to hear that. Oh, not because I'm pregnant, but I want to be with my peers to get to the end. That's something I took from that conversation. I think it's kind of so people really want to learn. You see, that's determined. Somebody said because of the rain, I'm pregnant. Let me sit home. I will do it next day, but she was determined to pass the wax. Something, yeah, quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I would sit there to catalog the takeaways from tonight's show, it'll be a long thing. Is that so I think the major thing for me, one of the major thing was this: the focus on primary education in Liberia there should be a focus on that. Yeah, we should focus on that's the basics. I mean, if some did not have good primary education, we wouldn't have been where we are today. Although you self-educate yourself, but without that foundation, I mean, it wouldn't help you. You won't be able to to make it, to this far. So yeah, guys, it was a good show, and I look forward to seeing you guys again on Tuesday. And for a lot of information, EFLA is having a meeting tomorrow. Everybody kind of welcome to that meeting. It's 7 p.m. Central European Time, 6 p.m. GMT, 8 p.m. Eastern European Time. That's in Finland, Russia, and other places. So yeah, guys, hope to see you guys, and thanks for the show. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'll be there. Paul, you find music and take us home?
Yeah, because it's Friday, I think we should do our audience a favor and then listen to some beautiful Liberian music too. So we know not everybody eating palm butter today or have pepper soup today. So this young man called Kello sang a song say he might buy a shawawa. So to our audience, thanks for being with us. And if you're here for the first time, kindly click on the red button. So whenever we comes on, you'll be notified. But it was a great show, and we see you all again on Tuesday by His grace.
Boy.
If we're pregnant, speak up.
Okay, sexy. Only records, Now you better liquor on that table. You want me to don't can show yourself. Got plenty dancing, now you dancing, you get copy. I say don't can show yourself. You using Chani, Mr. Chani, I say don't never don't can show yourself. You say you young boy, your sling on a papa bob. I say don't can show yourself. You don't get money, you want eat shawarma, eat some pizza, don't can show yourself. I using sense on you, using sense on your own. I Chani, don't can show yourself. Your Nina Kebe, you go or you say your Nina Sarah, don't can show yourself.